Morning. Early morning sunrise here off Barcelona. Bit of a storm coming. So we're just trying to get out before the entrance to the harbour gets too wavy. We're on board the Lagoon 38. The European Yacht of the Year trials. Pretty punchy conditions. Probably not the nicest for a small catamaran, but let's see what happens. So we just hoisted the main, done from this single helm station, and just unfurled the jib. We got about 20 knots breeze, but more the seaway that's running, but some of them are getting lively. So I say, quite good, challenging conditions. So it's really well set up to single hand sail it from this helm station, everything onto one winch, so you have to be methodical about how you change from the main sheet to the jib sheet. But the jib is on a self-tacking rail, so once you've got your angle set, you can clutch that off. There's a nice gust there, so we've got 27 knots apparent. We're making 6 knots kind of on average, and this is the hard attack. I don't know if you can hear anything anyway because of the wind noise, but because we're going straight into this swell now. But the boat's making headway. When we go over one of these sharper waves, you'll see how they can really try and stop the boat. But her displacement's helping carry her through, really. So yeah, sometimes we slow down, like now, I'm not concentrating on the angle, got a bit too close to the wind, but that was down to sort of 4.5 knots, but on average we're doing 5.5, 6 to windward. A fair bit of leeway, but it's all pretty comfortable up here. I don't know what it's like inside. But yeah, this is definitely the harder tack for the boat because you're punching straight into that swell, whereas on the port tack going across the swell it's a little bit easier, a little bit faster. The noise you're hearing is also from the boom, some creaking from the boom at the moment, which started yesterday apparently. But yeah, when you have the twin sheet system on the main sheet, it means you can lock off the starboard one in this case, and then as you go through the tack you have the other one set up anyway on these clutches here. So yeah, it means you can go through a tack easily single-handedly, no one has to touch a sheet. So what they wanted to achieve with this Lagoon 38 was basically to bring back an entry-level Lagoon, because the 380 is an old boat now and stopped production back in 2019. And they also had the Lagoon 40, but they wanted to make a more entry-level, cheaper version all round, basically. And it's not often I say that, a cheaper version, but they basically wanted to take what they've done with the Lagoon 43 last year and make a smaller, more economic version. And the reason for that is because Lagoon sells between their 38 and 46, 70% into charter, and yeah, they want to bring, and even for the 30% of private ownership, they want to bring people into the brand at a more affordable rate. So they've really, the focus has been in the design and engineering, in making it simpler to sail, simpler to build, less hours, and to be able to offer it as an attractive price point as possible. So when I say it's taking the learnings of 43, you'll see a very similar format. It's still a 4-cabin boat. Not many differences, single helm station. This doesn't have the whatever they call it, the lounge part of that flybridge bit. It's just got a sun pad on there. But yeah, the only layout difference with the 43 is that you get a single 4-peak berth. Otherwise they're both essentially 4-cabin boats if you want them to be. And obviously this is just a lot smaller, comparatively a fair bit smaller elsewhere. Oceanus 52 sailing past us. You might be able to see how it disappears through the swell, that we are in some good sized waves. Also part of the European Yacht of the Year this year. Here is the view from inside. This is where your families are not probably so keen on going to windward into swell on a small cat. Quite a loud place to be. I won't be getting my head down just yet then. Nice big comfortable berth. So this is a bit nicer, isn't it? You might be able to hear what I'm saying now a little bit more as we're going with the wind. Sort of broad reaching now, so going with the wind and the waves. A bit more sort of what a sailor would choose to do, I guess, if you could choose your passage. But yeah, this is where it's very comfortable really. We are, you know, if anything, underpowered now because we've got that reef in and we've only got the self-tacking head sail. You know, we can't really get onto the surfs quite, but you know, I guess most boats would average good speeds in these conditions, but you're getting places. So on the back of the waves we're sitting at sort of 6 to 7 knots as it goes to get the speed up, and then when you get on the waves 8, 9 and even 10 knots, which is not bad considering, you know, we've got a reef, not a lot of sail power up really. But anyway, I know it's not about speeds. It is, what is it now? Probably about 10:30 in the morning. I'm too hot in a polo shirt, and it's a lovely sunny day in late October off Barcelona. And yeah, it's an enjoyable place to manage the boat from. It's easy to do. I don't, at this stage of the game, don't really need anyone to help me. I'm up here on the helm. I can control my sheets all right. I can get out of the sun. I'm in comfort on the helm seat. And it's, yeah, a nice place to watch the ocean pass by. You can't really see from this angle, obviously. There's plenty of vision of the mainsail, but I can't see the trim of it from just having the starboard side. But that is the same for a lot of single helm cats. See, we got 20 knots true, so similar apparent, and the boat's trucking along. Anyway, nice view though. For those of you who say we don't go out sailing in wind and waves, we do if we can, and we have done now, so thanks Lagoon. Oh, that was fun. Glad we got out in that. The wind is getting up to sort of 45 this afternoon, so getting out early this morning was about the best chance we were going to get, particularly as that swell entrance that we just came back into gets really challenging. So you ready for the dock walk through? A quick turbo Toby tour. There's lots of boats here to test for the European Yacht of the Year, so can't go through everything, but I just want to show you as much as I can. So 4-peak stowage in each one, chain ran to a windlass, chain locker here, generator on this one, on this side. So this one is laden with options on this boat. We haven't seen the sails options really, but there's a Code Zero and a furling spinnaker essentially on this as well. Nice wide side decks, you know, Lagoon do that sort of thing well with good grab holds on them. And how much you would have picked up while we were sailing with the wind, I don't know, but this, as I mentioned, this is a well configured area, plenty of feedback and learnings to be able to manage all these lines. It's just simple. When you go to one winch though, you just have to be, you have to plan what you're doing carefully, but it makes sense to have that as a powered winch as well. So you can get your halyard up easily enough because it's on a 2-to-1 halyard, and you know, that's a big square top main, and you get your reefing lines on there. Then you tidy them all away in the tailing bag, or even below there as well. There's space down there without getting in the way of the cockpit. And then you've got your port and starboard main sheets on there to keep that in place. Works fine as a bridle system. And then your head sail sheet on there as well. So the only thing you'll need to use these winches for are obviously the kite sheets, and that's the Genoa, the jib furler on the grey line on the winch. It's a nice comfortable seat. You can sit two here comfortably, you know, proper throttle controls, which is really nice. I brought it back in some pretty punchy swell coming through that entrance, and it's, yeah, very nice and manoeuvrable, equally docking the boat. Steps up onto that sort of sunbed area. That's 500 or so watts extra solar on top as an option, on top of these optional davits solar panels. That's 900 watts on there. So good strong davits there, with extensions on there for lowering and raising the dinghy, and the life raft back there as well. Stowage below these cockpit benches. You know, plenty of space in here. And then basically it's what you saw on the 43, compressed a bit, I guess, but the same idea. Big bulkhead opening, and then an adaptable, lots of different configurations for these tables, whether you choose the same sort types or an outdoor indoor finish. As standard, that's a lowered coffee table area, which is kept behind these cushions in there, so you can choose, you know, you can configure it whether you're going to have lots of people eating around the table or relaxing around it, that sort of thing. As I say, this has got loads of options, including extra refrigeration space, genset, aircon, yeah, forward galley layout here, plenty of space, and then you've got a, just at the moment, cabinetry really, bit of stowage under here, and I was just speaking with Lagoon, suggesting maybe that offering that as a place to put a stool, and therefore you have got essentially a forward-facing chart table, because then you could sit there on a watch, maybe with an instrument on there as well. You got some ventilation, not at sea obviously, but you can see your head sail. Yeah, I don't know, just a thought. And then in terms of the cabins, sorry if I'm rushing you through it, but yeah, 3 or 4 cabins. 70% will choose 4 cabins because they're going into charter. You know, sharp edges, never liked them. There we are. Relatively narrow doorways, but then look at the size of the berths, and this gives an idea about the volume in the hulls. Some stowage there, and in here even more space inboard there, loads of natural light and ventilation. And what they've chosen to do is, rather than offer an ensuite for both cabins, which would be really tight, they've gone for one decent sized one with a sliding door here, so decent sized heads and shower compartment that these 2 cabins share. So again, look at the size of lots of bare plywood. Yeah, look at the size of this berth, and that's the forepeak I was mentioning, with the opening there for the storage into that forepeak. Loads of natural light. So the whole purpose, if I didn't mention this before, was to offer really 4 symmetrical cabins. So 4 proper double-sized berths. Those 30% or so people that take the private, I guess the owner's cabin version, get this, which is a bit less usual as well, to have an owner's cabin with the berth further forward. Reason being, keep it away from dock noise, keep it away from engine noise, people in the cockpit, winches, because it's so big. There's so much space in these holes for a 38 footer. They're so wide, loads of natural light. So you've got a massive berth and these big bulkhead openings here. I mean, that is, I don't know, you're not going to get a bigger berth on any boat really. Yes, you could get walkarounds, but do you really need those? There's some storage, cabinets, vanity desk area, somewhere to work as a home office. Close this area off. And then more storage in there. And then you have the world's biggest shower, heads and sink. And a sort of shower wet room that you could have a party in. So yeah, those that like multiple people showers. There is, it's very nice and comfortable, isn't it? There's the fuel tank under here. The water tanks are under the forward berths, I believe. But yeah, maybe I'll just sit here now and have a douche. So all that space, volume means the boat comes in at 10.2 tons. This one's probably, I don't know, 13 tons on the water. The tanks, 400 and 500 litres for fuel and water. What else? What did I mention? The price. 342,000 euros ex-tax. So the one we're on would be north of 500,000 euros. Hope you enjoy the turbo tour, but I hope you enjoyed getting out sailing with me. See you soon.